Here's my definition to begin with. Freedom of expression is the right to say what I believe. It is the recognition that others have the same right to say what they believe. It's an understanding that we will not always agree, that there will be differences of opinion. And finally, it involves the conviction, the certainty that this is a good thing and that this free exchange of ideas is going to be very positive for a democratic society. Now, if I had to put a definition in simpler words, I might say this. Freedom of speech is the legal right to communicate one's beliefs, opinions, and ideas. It involves a few different aspects. It involves the freedom to seek information, the freedom to receive information, and the freedom to pass information along. Freedom of expression is really the primary right that is essential as sort of a foundation for all of the other freedoms that we have in a democracy. A democracy simply can't function effectively without a free exchange of ideas. Another simple way of defining the freedom of expression is to say it's the right to tell people what they don't want to hear. We don't have freedom of expression if all we are able to talk about or to listen to is one system of ideas. There needs to be an exchange of ideas. So we need to feel free to tell people what they don't want to hear, and we need to be open to hearing the ideas of other people that don't agree with our ideas. Because if we don't believe in freedom of expression for people that we don't like or that we disagree with, then in reality, we don't believe in freedom of expression at all. We don't believe in freedom of expression for those we disagree with, or those that we don't like, or those who we are disgusted with because of the way they communicate their thoughts. Then we really have to wonder whether we believe in freedom of expression at all. The only purpose for a clear right and freedom of expression in the law is to protect those expressions that are disliked, are different, are unusual, and are not things that we want to hear. Again, freedom of expression is really the right to tell people what they don't want to hear. One author wrote, "Without the freedom to offend, we don't have freedom of expression at all." Let's look at the U.S. Constitution now. In the United States, we were a little slow getting this concept into the Constitution. It took a few years and a set of amendments to the original Constitution to clarify this freedom of expression. It is in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, and let me just read that to begin with. It says, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances." So you'll see in this First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that there are a number of freedoms that are linked together. Religious freedom, the freedom of expression, the freedom to peaceably assemble and to petition government for any grievances that one has against the government. So all of these things are tied very closely together in the First Amendment. Because they are so closely linked, it's evident in the U.S. Constitution that the freedom of expression at its core is really intended to protect the right to speak freely about our beliefs, whether those beliefs are religious beliefs, political beliefs, or our beliefs about lifestyle, any of those kinds of things. Our intent is to have those types of expressions protected, and specifically to be protected from penalty or persecution or interference from the government. So the U.S. Constitution really focuses on the idea of protecting us from a government who would oppress us or interfere with our ability to exchange ideas freely. The American view on freedom of expression, I think, is broader than almost anywhere else in the world. We have grown up in a society that takes very seriously the freedom of expression and defends it very intently. And our Supreme Court, too, defends that freedom from encroachment by Congress and by some of the laws that they pass. And so you will see a history in the United States over decades or centuries of a freedom of expression with protections that grow more strong every day rather than weaken. And so that gives you a little bit of background on the U.S. Constitution and freedom of expression.